One, two, three.
Hello and welcome back to the Future Talks conducted by Prayaana Labs. My name is Chelsea Sunil and I'll be your host for the day. I'm going to begin with an introduction to Prayaana. Prayaana is a unique employability, entrepreneurship, and innovation ecosystem for women. Prayaana Labs give wholesome career support services, right from career counseling, training, mentoring, and recruitment services, all coming under one umbrella. So be sure to check us out at www.prayaana.org. And in case if you like what you see, please feel free to join us and register at prayaana.in or just download the Prayaana app in your mobile phone. Now, this is basically a community app. It's a place where you can share your thoughts, your ideas, and even your queries with women of fellow interests. The idea behind the platform is to provide a space where women can come together and share their views despite their geographical locations or boundaries. But we do plan on launching hubs at your locations so that you guys can come together, organize events, and start ventures. Now, this is Prayaana Collective. Prayaana Collective is a venture of Prayaana. It is unique in the attribute that it's India's first e-commerce platform that's dedicated to the empowerment of women. The platform is uniquely designed with an attractive affiliate marketing model where all the customers are given an opportunity for lifetime savings and earnings. So in case you're looking for authentic and handmade products, we have plenty of those made by extremely talented women. So be sure to check us out at www.prakol.com. Now, in case during the session you guys have any queries, please feel free to post it in the live chat box below and we'll get back to you at the end of the session. So I'm going to introduce today's session. Today's session is on the topic Online Educators, Adapting and Flourishing. It is going to be conducted by Ms.Shibi Anand, who's the founder of Summer Pebbles. She's also a program coordinator and department head of computer science at Excelsior English School, Kottayam. A master's degree holder in information technology from Ms.Elsa, she is an educator by vocation and a change enabler by calling, whose passion lies in guiding individuals unleash their inherent potential and live a life of empowered happiness. She's currently working as a program coordinator and the department head of computer science, Excelsior English School, Kottayam. She's also the founder of Summer Pebbles, which is a learning and development platform which aims at bringing a paradigm shift in the field of education. She is an active member of Toastmasters Kottayam and is currently the chairperson of All Ladies League Kottayam. So who better to take this session than her? But before we go into the session, I'm going to ask her to do something else. I'm going to ask her to launch this month's edition of SHESIGHT. Now, SHESIGHT is a magazine which was developed with the idea that women are underrepresented in the media. So we are here to change just that. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Chelsea, for that wonderful introduction. It's a privilege and honor for me to release the May edition of the SHESIGHT magazine. It shares the stories of women, both known and unknown, and inspires and provides information. So if you're interested in subscribing for it, please do send a mail to the mail ID that you see on the screen. That's shesightmag@gmail.com. So I released this May edition of SHESIGHT magazine. More power to you all.
Okay. So like she said, if you guys want to subscribe, drop a mail at shesightmag@gmail.com. Or you can just post your email ID in the comments column below and we'll send a mail there. So the broadcasting for this is going to take place after 5 p.m. That's at the end of the show, so that we don't have any disruptions. So now we're going to just dive into the session now. So ma'am, over to you and a very warm welcome to the show once again. And we're super excited to hear what you have to say because it's very relevant at this point of time. Everything is online. So how is education online? Okay, ma'am.
Thank you, Chelsea. Just give me a minute while I just share my screen. Okay, good evening and welcome. On today's webinar on online educators, adapting and flourishing. I'm happy that we could connect and are here today. As for me, I am delighted to be here today. Hope you're all safe and healthy during this pandemic. On the onset, I would like to thank Ms. Chandravadna and Team Prayaana for giving me this platform. Prayaana has been connecting many souls during this lockdown. It's inspiring and commendable. More power to you. Now, I am a classroom teacher and hence understand the challenges teachers face in the grassroots level. Most of what I'm going to share today is based on my personal experience. Over a period of years, I've been learning the online platforms and how it can be used to make teaching learning effective. I handhold teachers to use online platforms as a new medium of teaching and learning. Well, that's it. Let me take you to today's session. Today's session's agenda has been divided into 5. As you see, I've divided the whole session into 5 sections. First, we would be dealing with the head and heart of online teaching. Moving on with nuts and bolts of online teaching, upskilling, a buzzword in today's time. I would be sharing a few resources with you and then we will move on to your question and answer sessions. Now, what's the objective of today's webinar for you? All of you were connected today to this webinar. We would like you to keep sane during this lockdown time and would also like you to adapt and flourish as an educator. Are you confused, anxious, and don't know where to start? There's so much of chaos about online teaching and learning. Welcome to Online Education version 1.0. Educators across the world are facing this challenge, and there is a leadership crisis too. Future seems uncertain, and no one knows when we will return to normalcy. Head and heart, these are the most vital part and the one we often ignore. These are the two main real emotional and psychological factors that may be preventing you from doing a decent job in online education. Online teaching, as you must have come across, is a buzzword today, but don't dive straight into it. There's a lot more to it than what meets the eye. I know schools are planning to teach or take online classes soon, and some may have already started. But ask yourself, are you prepared for an effective online teaching and learning? Are you equipped to use proper online educational tools? Are you confident that you can engage your learner in a productive manner? Don't worry if most of your answers are in negative. Remember, everyone is on the same boat. So how do you become an effective online educator? Well, this session may answer some of it, and some you will have to discover on your own. The most important part for an educator this day is to connect. Connect with fellow educators all across the globe. You don't have to be limited by your physical or private space. Build your learning community and tailor it to your need. So the two most important component for an educator is an educator and the student. Yes, you heard it right. You have two most important components other than the technology coming into this online education, which is the educator and the student. So it goes without saying that take care of yourself. This lockdown has been different to different people. For some, this has been an excellent period of learning, great opportunities, reflections, and family time. But for some of us, it has been the most anxious, disturbed, scary, and hell of a time. I don't know which category you belong to. Make a conscious effort of taking control of your life. Have some time for yourself. And I say, have a schedule. Even though it is a lockdown time, have a proper schedule for your day. That would help you not to get consumed and burn out during your preparations. There's another thing that you need to learn. When we go online to teach our students, it's not just necessary to bombard them with all the content that we have. It's very important that you connect with your student community. You make a bond with them. In the virtual world, we need human connections. So if you are dealing with younger students, start with energizers, stories, songs, small activities that you and your students would enjoy. And for the older ones, start a conversation. You would be connecting to them after a very long period of time. So be genuinely interested in them. Check with them how they are spending their lockdown. Spend the initial part of your online classes building connections with your students. Let them wait for you to come online and share what they are going through throughout the day. An educator is much more than just being an educator. An educator is part of a family. Now, the next thing is just as how you set your classroom rules for your physical work or your physical classrooms, do set classroom rules for your virtual classrooms. Keep it simple, but make reminders or keep them reminding about your classroom rules. Involve them while you form the rules. How you want them to come online. When they come online, what is expected of them? How do they behave in an online environment? How do they respect someone else's privacy? All these are things that you can teach your younger ones. Now, I told you about building learning communities. Once you connect to different people, different schools may be having different approaches, different educators having different styles of taking classes. When you connect to many of them, you will get a broader idea of how to go about your own. But the end decision would definitely be based on your school, your students, and your class. So don't forget to personalize your learning according to these three factors. Okay, another important factor that I would like to tell you is please rope in your parent community, especially for the younger ones. Get a consent form, a no objection letter signed by parents for conducting online classes. And the world is your oyster. You should choose wisely from it. Next, I have another section that I deal with by saying nuts and bolts of online teaching learning. Now, once you set your classroom atmosphere, once you know what is that you're expected of, what is the pedagogy that you want to teach them, and how you would like to take their classes, the rules being set, the next part is to decide on whether you would like to take a live class for your students, or whether you just want to give them assignments, quizzes, or whether you would just like to have a text-based discussions. Now, if you are going ahead with your live classes, I would suggest you go with one of these. It could be Microsoft Teams, which is free for schools and educational organization. The only thing is your school would have to register on behalf. And then the teachers and students will have to be enrolled in it. Then you have Google Meet again for your live classes, which you could use for connecting to students online, just like how we are connected now. You have another platform called Cisco WebEx that could also be used for connecting to students online. Zoom, though, is very easy to use and quite simple. We would not suggest to be used for educational purposes because of a lot of reasons and a lot of speculations. So when you decide on what is that you want to deliver to your students, do a bit of research on your own. There would be many other platforms. Khan Academy also, I think, has a platform for live classes. Just check out the available resources that is available on the web. Decide according to your school's requirement, your students' requirement, and how you can take it across. If you plan to have a text-based discussions, Like you would like to just give them an assignment, you want to hear from them, you want them to submit a project and then evaluate and return it back to them, then one of these could be easily used. Most of us are familiar with the last one, which is your WhatsApp. In the WhatsApp atmosphere, all the schools have all these WhatsApp groups where you share a lot of important school information. So the teachers could use the class WhatsApp platform to convey to student important information. You have something known as Khan Academy, which is quite a powerful tool, which all of you must explore. I'll just take you through to each one of these shortly. And then there's another one called Edmodo. All these can be used for your text-based discussions. Now, there's another important thing that I would like to highlight over here. Every app or every medium of online requires you to sign using an email account. And most of us sign using a Gmail account of ours. I strongly suggest that you keep two different mail IDs, one which is for your personal use and another which you would be using for teaching, learning, for enrolling for yourself into classes or attending webinars or things like that. So please maintain two different email IDs, one for your personal purpose and one for your every other need of professional needs. Now, the world is changing and it's just no longer going to be a world where you give them a plain blank question paper, you ask them to write it on a paper and submit back to you. I think times are changing and so are we as educators. So you have enough number of platforms that are available and online which will help you to make online assessments. Yes, now you can assess your students even when they are not with you. And you can evaluate them instantly, give them feedback, and they would know how they have scored. And your question papers or an assessments are going to be of dynamic kinding. You would have different types of questions coming for assessment. You could have a video, you could have an audio clipping. It's your creativity how you're going to go about it. So one platform that is available for online assessment is called ProProf's Quizmaker. I like this platform purely because it allows me to make assessment. The students are able to get a feedback immediately and a plus and a bonus point that they get to keep a certificate for their assessment. Yes, you heard me right. They get an online certificate which they can download and keep with them, which is a mark of how they fared in that particular module. And they could share it with their friends, they could share it with you, and it's always something that you cherish. The second one that you see over here is called Google Forms. I'm sure most of you have worked in Google Forms. For those of you who have not yet explored this Google Form, I think you must definitely use this Google Form because it's very simple to use and a very effective tool for collecting information, for having online elections, for having online assessments and giving students. You can think of all sorts of possibility. The next one, Microsoft also gives you an option of Microsoft Forms, which also basically works like a Google form. There is another option called Doodle, which helps you to create online polls. You're taking a live class and suddenly you feel that you need to know whether the students have got that concept or not, or you need to know what does this child thinks about this particular thing. You could create an online poll ready using Doodle and then post it. You can also use Mentimeter, which I've not mentioned over here. That's also a live platform for live responses from the students. And Kahoot is also another platform which you could use for your online quiz making. Now, I would like to show you, I think most of you definitely have your Google account. So if you have your Google account, I hope my screen is visible to all. Okay, Chelsea, is my screen visible to you?
Yeah, ma'am, it is.
Okay. Now, if you are a Google subscriber, which means if you have a Google ID, then you could use a lot of things that Google provides. The most powerful one being the Google Drive, where you could just organize all your files. It gives you a free storage of 15 GB, which is free for you. You could store all kinds of files, which is personal and professional, into it. And as I mentioned earlier, you must have a professional email ID, which you would only use for professional purposes. Now, if you look at here, which is known as a Google App Grid, this is known as an app grid. If you just click on that, it would open up a lot of things out there. There's a whole new world out there for you to explore. So if you haven't explored it till today, go home and explore it today. You have a Google search being incorporated in that. You have a Google Maps. If you're taking a class, you want to show your student a particular video from YouTube, you could connect to them using this YouTube. You have the Play Store here, you have Google News, then you have your Gmail account being configured into this. You can access all your contacts. Most often we see whenever our phone crashes or whenever there is a problem with the handset, we tend to lose all our contacts. But now it's not like that. Most of us could retrieve our information, our contacts, through Google Contacts if we have configured our mobile with Google. I already mentioned about Drive. You have a Google Calendar. You have an online classes coming up. You could put all your information into Google Calendar and set reminders. We are all quite busy. Sometimes we enroll for a lot of different webinars. These days, there are a lot of webinars that are happening. Now we enroll for a lot of webinars and we forget all about it. And then once the webinar is over, you suddenly remember, oh, I had registered for this webinar today. So you could just set your Google Calendar and set reminders. It would remind you whatever you have on that particular day. Google Translate is a very, very powerful feature. You could use it to translate a language into another language. Google Photos is where all your photographs get stored and you could use it later. You have a lot of school programs that is happening. If you have an account and you upload everything into Google Photos and later you would like to retrieve it for some particular purpose in your school, you can do that from Google Photos. Duo, along with Google Meet, is another platform that allows you a live session. Another powerful tools for an educator is a Google Doc, which works just like your Microsoft Word, which all of us are familiar with. But the beauty about Google Docs is that it's real. It's real time. You don't have to keep saving it every once in a while. You don't have to press on your Control S key to save it. It automatic any changes that you make into your document, it immediately changes. It gets stored into your drive. You don't have to carry your pen drives if you are having a presentation. You could go there, access your Google Drive and then just take your document out from there. Same thing with Google Sheets, works exactly like Microsoft Excel. It's real time. Now, suppose if there are teachers who are working on question paper together, or if there are students who are working on creating a school magazine or a class magazine, they could all collaboratively work on a Google time real time. There could be 10 users at the same time working on the same document, and all of them would be able to see what's been done, what's been edited, what's changed. For that, you can share it with other people and they could use the same document. Most of the time, we create one document and say we send it to 10 different people. So we have 10 different copies of that particular document stored at different places. But if you use Google documents like Google Docs, Sheets, and Slides, and you invite and you add collaborators to that, which you could easily do, then you would be able to see how it is being shared and how it can be edited and it's real time. And there's just one copy of it. Okay. You have bloggers, hangouts. Keep is another important tool if you're making class notes, if you want to just jot down your to-do list, you want to share it with somebody else. If you're attending a meeting, a webinar, you could take real lifetime notes onto it. because it gives you auto suggest, so saves a lot of time, and you're able to take notes on that, and you share it later with your friends, your families, of what you've learned on that day. Google Jamboard is another interesting feature of Google. Okay, so all of these comes along with your Google apps. That's what I wanted to show you. Now, going back to where we were, this is what I just mentioned. It's a Google Drive. You want to organize, like you would be bombarded with information. Your school groups, your friends groups, your family group would share a lot of content that is very useful and very relevant to you, and you would like to access it sometimes later. So if you want to organize, you keep it all in to create a self group in your WhatsApp, save it there, and as and when time permits, upload it into your Google Drive. So that's going to be there. You label it and upload it, and whenever you want to access that document, you could actually use all of that without. Otherwise, what happens is, say one teacher has shared something very important, and after a week you realize that I would like to access the document, and suddenly you go and check across your WhatsApps, you check across your multiple documents, you can't find it. So WhatsApp self group is a very important tool which could be created on your mobiles, and save every important document into a self group. Yes, learn to create a WhatsApp self group and learn to save all your important resources which you want to refer later, and save into that. In the previous slide, I actually talked about Google Apps. Just like Google, we have Microsoft Office 365 that helps us to organize ourselves. Like, it's an age old tools. I think any generation of people are familiar with Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, but there are a lot of other options that is available with Microsoft Office 365. Now, as I mentioned before, Office 365 is also free for education, or free for educational institutions. Your school will have to register with Microsoft Office, and then the teachers could use the platform of Microsoft Teams. Now, these are the different tools that you could actually use. Now, if you would like, if you're an English teacher, you want to give a reading assignments to your child, you want them to create a science project, you want them to write or draw a map, you could be using any of these documents that's available on your screen right now. You could use a doc, you could use a Word, you could use PDFs, and there are plenty of websites available online. Now, please remember, as educators, please teach your students that when they get content from online, they just don't copy paste it onto their document and call it their own. There's something known as copyright. There is something known as plagiarism. Please do teach your children the fundamentals of plagiarism and creative copyright for licenses. And also, please be aware of that yourself. You could go to the internet, you could take contents from anywhere, you could adapt it according to your need. But please don't forget to give credit to the source from where you're getting it. Don't just copy paste and call it your work. That's a strict no-no as far as an online teaching, learning, online etiquettes are considered. It's a strict no-no. Now, if you want to check out a few videos, you could check out Khan Academy. It's an excellent resource hub where you could find different class resources. Basically, it's for mathematics and science and a few other subjects as well. So just check that out. YouTube I had already mentioned. Now, most of us these days are busy preparing online sessions. So we are recording our own classes and we want to share it with our students via YouTube, WhatsApp, or any other platform. Now, the screen recording applications like your Screencastify or Screenomatic would help you in recording your sessions. There are plenty of applications available in the Play Store, in the iPhone iStore, to get it downloaded and record your screen. But please remember, all of them come with their own risk factors. So when you download something, read through it carefully, see if it is not violating your privacy, and then go ahead and using that. Now, those of you who have an updated version of Microsoft Office 2016 upwards, they have a built-in screen recording facility available in PowerPoint 2016 upwards. So you could just use that feature to record your lessons. You could create a PowerPoint, give voice to it, record your classes, and then share that with your students. Another important area which is coming up is podcast. Teachers could create blogs and podcasts. It's just audio clippings and you share it with your class. You share the link of your podcast with your students. You could also have voice clips along, like there are a lot of schools who are not yet decided about which platform to use. What they're using right now is they're using WhatsApp as the medium, and they're recording their videos and they're recording their audios and they're sharing it. They have, they have a proper structure of a class. They have a well-planned class. They tell the children in advance when the class is going to start. They share the subject groups link of the WhatsApp with the students. And then, just like your normal class, they keep sharing the videos and audios and instructions with the students in the real time. But please remember, while you do all of these, remember you must add a human touch to your classes. You must know that the knowledge does not, or the learning does not need to happen in the traditional way. These are some of the resources that I have. I would just like to show you about Khan Academy. Now, if you look at it, you go to Khan Academy and you would be able to see 3 sections for yourself. You have a learners area, you have a teacher section, and you have a parent section. Most of us can sign into any of these websites using either a Google ID or with our Facebook ID, or we could also sign up with any other email ID that you want. Please do, as a teacher, please go back to Khan Academy and just check out the courses. So these are some of the courses that are available. See, for maths, you have from class 1 to class 12. You have certain other area that they deal with. You have computing, and you have science and engineering. You have economics, financial, you have storytelling, you have grammar. So you have a lot of content over there. Now, these are different platforms that are available for live classes. You could just go and visit. WhatsApp Web is one of the powerful tool right now because all of us are quite addicted to our WhatsApp, and all the information comes to us through our WhatsApp messages. So how do you deal with it? How can you get something from your WhatsApp to your laptop or your desktop or your tab for that matter? For that, you could just visit this site, which is called a WhatsApp Web. It would take your WhatsApp from your mobile to your desktop. All you have to do is you'll get a screen with the QR code. Depending upon your WhatsApp, you'll get a QR code over here. All you have to do is to just scan that. You open your mobile web. You open your own mobile. I'm not able to reach it right now because I'm connected to you via my phone. So you could just later go and check that. Just go open your WhatsApp, and on the top right corner, you would see 3 dots in the in vertical. So when you click on that, you see an option called WhatsApp Web, and you open that and use your camera, mobile camera, to scan the QR code that's on your desktop screen. It's very simple. So the entire WhatsApp will be loaded onto your desktop, and you could just download anything from your WhatsApp. You could see something on a bigger screen, whatever you would like to do. Now, if you want to survive post-COVID times, Then the mantra is upskill. It doesn't matter if you're a student, a teacher, a leader, an entrepreneur. This is the time to upskill yourself. Go for online courses. If you have certificates, then it's brilliant. Some of these sites that you see on your screen do provide online certifications. Once you complete your online course, they give you a certificate which you could actually download and keep it with you. And it's an added advantage, or it's an uh, added thing to your portfolio. Now, some of them do not go into an online platform just for the sake of getting certificates. The main motive here is to learn. There are amazing resources out there from some of the learning providers for online courses from some of the best universities in the world. If you want to take a course from Harvard, Oxford, Massachusetts, if there is a university that you always wanted to go and study, but you could not, you want to attend one of the classes of IITs, IIMs, now is your chance. You could use one of these websites to go to those particular sites, explore the course that you want to, and then enroll yourself in that course. As educators, it is important for us to connect to a larger audience, to know what is current in the education sector. So I have mentioned a few sites for your reference. You could have more than that. I would just show you how each one works. Most of them actually take you in through your Gmail ID or your Facebook ID, or as I mentioned, if you have another work ID, you could just log in using that to one of these. Now, edX is basically, as I mentioned over here, if you are an average learner, you could go for edX, which deals with academics. Coursera, edX, FutureLearn are some of the course content provider where you can go and visit. You can also go to Udemy if you want to go for any of the academic courses or any certifications. You could go there. And if you are typically looking at improving your skill sets, like for example, if you want to improve on your skills, then there is a beautiful site over here which you could get started for free. It is called Skillshare. So again, you could get started for free. And then once you sign up with them, you can sign in with that and just check out, browse through their sites. And what are the different? You have a lot of modules that they give you. This is for the technical skill. So if you want anything in leadership and management or any of these courses, then you can go to this Skillshare for that. If you have, like, if you go to, I think if I introduce you to Udemy, then depending upon what kind of courses that you want, here you see something known as sign up. You just sign up, or you could just search here which course you are interested in. You could just sign up using this and then explore. So there is a lot of things. You have a lot of sections that they have, and each one would have subsections under that. So you could just go explore these platforms and find out which is the best suited one for you, and then just go ahead with that. Okay. Okay. Now, I would like to tell you that most of the time when the teachers are asked to go online, either to attend a webinar or to attend an online session, or just the fact that you are supposed to make your online presence, it means you need to be prepared for your online presence. There should be proper lighting. You should keep your laptop or your mobile, if you're using your mobile to access a particular webinar or an online session, it should be kept in such a way that there is proper lighting, that people at the other side could see you properly. Okay, make sure that people see you clearly, and please check your audio. Speak clearly, not very slowly. If you want to use earphone, you're free to do that. And most of the time we see people who, if they are accessing, this is particularly true for people who access these online sessions using their mobiles. They have a very odd way of keeping their phones, so you get to see them from maybe, tummy up, or you only see their forehead, or you only see their nose, or just their eyes. So before you go online, or before you're visible to your students, or to any other platform for that matter, check your video. See for yourself, how is it? Ideally, it should be just chest upwards. Your face should be clearly visible, and there should be proper light, and that is enough for it. And I understand this is lockdown times and we are all stuck at home. So it makes sense if you are in your home clothes. But if you are going for a professional webinar hosted by a professional group of people, like a CBSE session or any online class sessions, please make sure that take that as an opportunity to dress up. You feel good about it, you feel confident about it. So just dress up and go properly dressed in front of that session to take your class. I have seen teachers in, or not just teachers, okay, I take, or I use this term teachers quite frequently because I am one of them. I belong to that community. So we see people coming to these online sessions just in home clothes, very casual, some of them in their night wears. Probably they're not aware of it, that you're visible to the other person. Now, in case if you do not want, you do not have an opportunity where you could be, you want to attend a session, but you could not be visible, you don't want to be visible to the other person, then please disable your video and disable your audio. So that would help you to, properly attend an online session. All right. So I think I have covered more or less whatever I wanted to share with you. Now, before I wind up my session and before I hand it over to Chelsea, I want to share this with all of you who are here connected to me today. Don't have a scarcity mentality. Don't hesitate to share with others what you know. The more you give, the more you receive, is the universal law. And as a parting note, I would like to share with you what my mentor, Dr. Monsi George, taught me. Nothing grows under a banyan tree. This Indian proverb speaks of leadership styles. The banyan is a great tree. It spreads its branches, drops air roots, develops secondary trunks, and covers the land. Animals, birds, and people find shelter under the tree's shades. But nothing grows under its dense foliage. And when it dies, the ground beneath lies barren and scorched. Don't be like a banyan tree. Encourage others. Pull each other up. Be happy about others' growth and achievement. Or else we will be like the ground beneath the banyan tree. Once the leader is gone, barren and lifeless. Please don't hesitate to connect for any further support. I'm planning to do a few follow-up sessions because I could not go into detail into this. So these are just some of the online platform, online tools that are available for you to explore. There is so much that needs to be done. Having said all this, be gentle on yourself. Take care of your mental and physical well-being. Much gratitude and a virtual hug to everybody who attended today's session. I would like to end this session with a story that I would be reading out for you. The story goes like this. Autobiography in 5 chapters. Chapter 1. I walked down the street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I've fallen. I'm lost. I'm helpless. It's not my fault. It takes forever to find my way out. Chapter 2. I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I pretend I don't see it. I've fallen again. I can't believe I am in the same place. It is still not my fault. It takes a long time to get out. Chapter 3. I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I see it there. I still fallen. It's a habit now. My eyes are open. I know where I am. It is my fault. I get out immediately. Chapter 4. I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I walk around it. Chapter 5. I walk down another street. So what do you choose? Want to walk the same street or starting on a new path? Choose wisely. With this, signing off today. It was my pleasure to connect to you all. Hope you benefited. Please do not forget to connect to me in any of these platforms. I would be available on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and my number is also shared here in case if you would like to get in touch with me, anything related to this, if there's anything that I can help you out with, I would be happy to help. For now, and enable and inspired educators. Forever, role models, leaders. Thank you very much. Thank you, Prayaana. Thank you, Chelsea. Over to you.
Thank you so much for the session, ma'am. It was a wonderful session, very, very engaging. So now we're going to go into the Q&A session. So we do have a bunch of questions. So I'm going to begin with the first question. The first question is from Indira N. What she's asking us, which is the best platform to accommodate 60 students?
Microsoft Teams, Google Meet, any of these platforms could be used. Your Zoom paid version, unpaid version can take 100 participants. Paid version can go up to depending upon which plan you have subscribed for. But again, Zoom is not an educational platform. So you should rather stick to either Microsoft Teams or Google Meet or even Cisco WebEx. You don't have to sign up. You don't have to buy a plan for them. You can still go online and take your sessions. I hope I cleared that question.
Okay, ma'am. So the next question is from Sumam Barki. So what she says, good afternoon. What is, in your opinion, the best platform and method to teach kindergarten in the present times?
I think storytelling would be a wonderful platform. And as I mentioned before, whichever platform that you use, see, your children are very small. They cannot sit online for more than 10 minutes. And that too with their parents. So whether the parent is available to be, sitting with the child, as most of the parents are working from home. So you as an educator has a challenge there. You have to make it lively and interesting. Have some energizers, have some games planned out for them, tell them a story, sing a song, dance with them. It's your creativity that would drive your child there. Thank you so much.
Okay. So the next question is from Meena MK. So what she's asking is, how do you make a Google account?
Meena, making a Google account is very simple. If you have ever used an internet, you would see a browser called Google Chrome. Just type in over there, Gmail, sign up, and just enter the magic button. And then you would see it will take you step by step through a session. In case you're finding it difficult, please connect to me. I would help you out through. Anybody else, if you have children, please check them out. They are too good at it. They use technology far, far better than us. So please check out with your students, your children. Do not hesitate to ask for help. This is one more point I would like to tell my fellow educators. If there's something that you do not know, please ask. Most of the time, I learn from my students. They are the ones who teach me, okay, ma'am, you can do it like this. You can explore it like that. So please never be afraid or shy away from asking for help. It does not make you smaller. It shows you're a learner. And we all have that learning board. We all with that, when we drive newly, we have that L board on our cars. I think we should all be a lifelong learners. I hope I cleared that. In case if I have not, please do connect to me.
So the next question is from Angel Mary T. Ma'am, what is WhatsApp self? Can you explain one more time?
Do I have the time to actually show them that?
Go ahead.
Can I? Okay.
Yep.
All right. Okay. You know, if you would like to explore your WhatsApp, did you ask me a WhatsApp web, or did you check with me on how to create a self group? I think she asked me how to check self group, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Let me try. I'm not very sure if I would be able to do this, because I'm right now connected via my phone. See, all of those who would like to explore your WhatsApp through your desktop, this is the place you need to go to. You write WhatsApp web. It will take you to a site. Okay. Right now, I am just going to disconnect from this account and connect via another one, so that I could just show you my, yeah, you could see this. So these are some of my self groups. All you need to do is you have to create a new group. Okay, you just create a new group. I usually add my son to it, because that way I can remove him and he won't question me. So I would just go and add one participant, any participant that I want, and I would name my group, say, self group. Okay, done. Okay, now I would have my group created over here. I go back. I just want myself there. I don't want anybody else. So I take my group. Okay, when you take it in your mobile, you would see all the people who are there. Okay, right now, yes, I could see it here. And I click on this person. I'm sorry. Okay, 1 second. Technology could be quite, tricky at times. So you really need to be careful with it. I go back to my self group and I click on this. I see this. I right click on this and I have an option of remove. Okay, it asks me whether I want to remove. I say remove. And here I am. I have a group which is only having me as a member. So anything that comes to my, WhatsApp group and I want to share it, I want to store it for future, I want to go back and refer, I have my self group ready. I hope I cleared that for you.
Yeah, ma'am.
Anything else?
Yeah, we do. Don't worry. The next question is from J.N.C. Swaroop. Okay. Could you please show scheduling a Google Meet?
Google Meet. Okay, let me try that one also. Okay, I'm not sure whether I would be able to do justice. Make sure that if you are logged into your WhatsApp on your desktop, log out before you close it. Otherwise, your data is all out. Anybody can watch on you. Privacy is a great thing as far as whenever you are online, please make sure your security settings are, all good. You asked me for Google Meet, how to schedule Google Meeting. So you have a Google Meet. Okay, here you go. You take a Google Meet. Okay, you come to a site like this. You click on it. I've heard that Google is going to make this free for everybody. Earlier, it was only meant for Google for Education, G Suite users. So those who are subscribed to G Suite Education, only they could use Google Meet. But I think by the end of this month, it would be open to all. And just like how we're using our Zoom, it would be available here. See, over here, you could just have, right now, there's nothing scheduled. Okay, I do not know if my account would, this account of mine, which I'm using right now, does not have G Suite, so I will not be able to schedule. Just wait for a while till the time you get this Gmeet free for everybody, and then you will be able to schedule it easily. I don't know if I could show you how do I have an option of turning my camera to this side? Okay, will it be visible if I show you this, Chelsea? Will it be visible?
It wouldn't be too clear.
Okay. Okay, I think we need to wait till the time Google Meet makes it available. Otherwise, in your phone, it's very simple. Download it from Play Store. You have an icon that comes there. Double click on that, and then it asks you new meeting. So you say yes, new meeting. You click on the new meeting, and then you're already into a meeting. So if you want to share that meeting details with your students or your teachers or anybody, just there's a button called share. Use that button and share it via WhatsApp or your mail or anything, and you're good to go. Yes, I think that's it.
No, ma'am, we do have a few more questions.
No. I was talking about this particular question.
Okay, ma'am. So the next question is, by Ramya Shibu. So
Okay.
her question is, good evening, ma'am. How to organize an online class like you're conducting right now?
Okay. Right now, I think this is being streamed via YouTube Live. That's one way of doing it. You could use Zoom. That's another way of doing it. Another thing for going live classes, you could use Microsoft Teams, which is a beautiful platform for educational purpose. So all you have to do is make your school, it's free for schools. So subscribe to Microsoft Office 365. Register your school domain under that. I said that before also. And then they'll get back to you. You could either do it on your own or take a technical help where they could just do all the background processing for the school, and then you could just schedule. Like for now, would you be able to see my screen if I share this? Do you see this, Chelsea? Are you able to see this?
Yeah, I am.
This is actually the Microsoft Teams platform. You have something known as calendar where you could schedule meetings. You could, once you have registered your school, this one is for mine. So if you have registered your school with Microsoft Teams, and you could see all your class groups and all your groups over there, and then you could just start going. Once you have scheduled a meeting, just like how we schedule for Zoom or for Google Meet, you have to schedule a meeting from here. That's another big topic, which I don't think I'll be able to take you through completely right now, but this is one way of going online using Microsoft Teams. Thank you.
Okay. So now the next question is from Divya G.
Okay.
So what he's asking is, what will be the best online platform which can accommodate their whole school online teaching from kindergarten to class 12?
What would be the strength?
I'm not sure.
What would be the strength? So if it is say around 1,000, are you not going to go? Are you planning to go online all at once, or you're planning to go class-wise at different times? Again, the answer for I think of all the platforms that I have explored so far, Microsoft Teams is best for Indian scenario because it consumes less bandwidth. You're able to take an uninterrupted sessions. You can have as many students as possible. So Microsoft Teams, I think another one, or I could get back to you on this if you would drop a message. Maybe I can get back to you on this.
Yeah. Okay. So next question is from Ami Sampath. She's asking, do you have any suggestions for a platform for extracurricular after-school activity?
Depends on how you would like to conduct an extracurricular activity. Would that be drama, dance, music? Again, you see, all of these platforms would require you to be live. So as I mentioned, you could use one of those platforms of Cisco WebEx, Google Meet, Microsoft Teams, Zoom. All of these platforms are here for you to use extracurricular activities. It depends whether you're planning one or you're hosting one. If you're hosting one, these are the ones. Otherwise, the others, Google Classrooms, like if there's something that you want to schedule, the other areas that I mentioned could be utilized.
Okay. So now we have a question from Carolyn Fernandez. Ma'am, which platform is best in areas of low connectivity?
Microsoft Teams worked for me, so I can vouch for that because most of us actually use our mobile data or share our hotspots. So when we set up, please remember to switch off your student's video when it is not required while you're taking an online class. You could just pin the teacher on the screen and have the rest of the people switch off their video and say you want to do a quick check on a particular student. Probably you can call out his name and ask that student to, enable the video. That way, they're still in your class and not moved out or sneaked away. So I think Microsoft Teams would still work for that.
Okay, ma'am. So we have another question. So, yeah, ma'am, could you please tell how to conduct online exam, mainly for descriptive questions?
Google Form is a wonderful platform for any kind of assessment that you want. Profs that I mentioned in the slide, I think for assessment, yeah, these are some of the platforms that you could use for assessments. It could be a Google Form, it could be a Microsoft Form, it could be Kahoot, it could be Profs, or it could be Doodle, or there's another one known as Mentimeter. You could even go for Mentimeter. They have some fabulous real-time presentations and real-time polls that could take place if if you want to assess your child on the spot, on go, live. Then I think you could definitely use Doodle and Mentimeter. Otherwise, Google Forms and Microsoft Forms work best.
Okay, ma'am. So with that, we're coming to an end to the Q&A session for today. So now we're going to go into the feedback session. So before we do that, I'm going to have to ask you to stop sharing your screen.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the session, ma'am. So now we're going to go into the feedback session. Now I already seen a lot of the feedback. It's insanely positive. I would suggest ma'am please take a look at it right now because it's beautiful. I might actually, I'll read you some of the things. So there's a lot of thank yous from like Achama Jyotis, Angel Mary T, NSS Trappa says, great work, Shibi, Smita, Arvi, thank you, ma'am. It was an informative session. Divya ji, thank you so much for a wonderful session. And Sarah Lois Cherry, thank you, ma'am. So informative. So it goes on. It's all thank yous and everybody says it was a great session. So thank you so much.
Any critical feedbacks, Chelsea? Anything that I can improve upon?
Oh, well.
Anything that they wanted to be
wait, we keep giving questions actually. You want to take one more question? Yeah?
Yeah, go ahead. Shoot
So
it.
says, ma'am, could you suggest a method to conduct online assembly for school? Now we would be conducting as a class, but as a school, what?
Okay, online assemblies. Okay, this one I need to get back to you on because I haven't checked out how you could project. Probably you can stream it using your YouTube live. You go to your YouTube channel and stream it live for everybody to see. Yeah, I think that's what I can think of right now. Or I need to work on this. Okay, noted. I will work on it.
Okay, ma'am.
So for your school and assembly, I'll work on that.
Okay. Yeah. So regarding the critical work, so Indra and I said Microsoft Teams, the drawback is that only 4 people are visible.
Yes, Microsoft Team is created like that because it wasn't meant for a scenario like this. It's only now that they have opened it up for education and for other purposes. Now they're working on it, and you would soon see 7 people on screen, like a tiled view, how you see it in your Zoom. You will see, they're working on that. Microsoft Team is working on that tiled view, what you see on your Zoom. So I think we would be able to see more people on screen. But as far as the online classes are concerned, if you're having meetings, it's another story altogether. But still, you could pin the speaker. Whoever is speaking, you could pin the speaker so that the speaker is on the stage and you could pay attention to what that speaker is saying. Lot of videos always distract us. You're jumping from one person to the other. So less, the better. So Microsoft Team is working on that.
Okay, ma'am. So that's it. That was your only critical review regarding what you said. Everybody else loved it. It was a great session.
Thank you.
So again, okay, thank you so much for coming on the show. So yeah, like I said, it's feedback time. So do share your feedback on a YouTube channel as a comment so that the positives and negatives, we'd like to know what you think. So now this is just a poster for tomorrow's session. It's going to be from 5 to 6 p.m. So just take a note of that. And the topic is Come Back to Career Strategies, a live interaction with Chief Mentors of Prayaana. We're going to be having Chandravadana R, our CEO, and Kezia Thomas, who's the Chief Mentor of Prayaana. She's a life coach as well. So, and now this is just a schedule for the whole coming week. So I've already announced what's happening on Tuesday. So on Wednesday, we have Women and Money, Take Control of Your Finance. It is going to be taken by Nisari M, who's the founder of Her Money Talks. On Thursday, we have Challenges of Women Entrepreneurs in Kerala. It's going to be taken by Mr. Francis EJ, trainer and mentor, strategic innovation, design thinking, entrepreneur strategies, and stress management. On Friday, we have a session on the topic Gender Bias and Communication at the Workplace. It's going to be taken by Dr. Priyadarshini Marathesh, consultant in emergency medicine at Oxford University Hospitals NHS Trust, and honorary senior clinical lecturer at Oxford University. On Saturday, as usual, we have two sessions. The first session is going to be from 11 to 12. It's on the topic EQ and gender diversity. It is going to be conducted by Bulbul Ray Nathan, L&D consultant specialist in talent management and leadership development. The second session is going to be from 4 to 5 p.m. It's on the topic Sharpening Interview Skills to Face Tough Times. It's going to be taken by a retired Lieutenant Colonel Prem Vas, who's a specialist in human capital management. So guys, thank you so much for watching, and do not forget to subscribe to us, like, and share. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much to ma'am for coming on the show once again. With that, we're coming to an end. See you tomorrow. Stay home, stay safe.